Hi, my name is Shirsavar from Biricha Digital. In one of our previous videos, we demonstrated how we calculate the size of the inductor with a simple equation giving all the parameters that we needed in order to select it by hand. Now that we know the science and engineering behind what's going on, we don't have to calculate it by hand anymore. There is a free online software which will do all the calculations for you and give you the inductor that you need. So in this video, we're going to show how this software works. First, I'd like to point out that we are not getting paid by Worth Electronics, and this is not an advert. We just really like their tool. Their tool is called RedExpert, and it calculates the size of the inductor for you based on pretty much the equations that we discussed in the previous video. So let's go to the computer and show you how this works. So let us start with typing in RedExpert into our search tool, and the RedExpert from Worth Electronics should be your first hit. So if I go to there, it will open up the home page of RedExpert, and here you will see the various components that the tool supports. We are looking for power inductors, so we do power inductors again, and when it opens the page, the home page for power inductors, here you will see that we've got a choice of 3,000 inductors. Obviously, we have to narrow that down based on our specification. And let us say that we are designing a buck converter. Here, you type in the minimum input voltage and the maximum input voltage of your power supply based on your specification. So let us say that we have got a minimum input voltage of 10 volts, a maximum input voltage of 14 volts for a nominal input voltage of 12. The tool uses the minimum input voltage to calculate the maximum current ratings, and it uses the maximum input voltage for the voltage stress calculations. Let us say that I have got an output voltage of 5 volts, and for simplicity, let us say that I've got an output current of 1 amps. Let us say that our switching frequency is 200 kilohertz. And if you remember from the previous video, we said that we limit the ripple around our inductor current to plus or minus 40% peak to peak. And of course, the tool uses exactly the same equations and is using exactly the same default value. The reason we limit this to 40%, as we discussed in the previous video, is because 40% ripple around the output current gives you actually the best compromise between size and cost versus the peak inductor current. So I now can do update, and it will narrow down my choices of inductors from 3,000 to around 100. Here you will see that the tool has created some filters. In particular, it is limiting the value of the inductance to values between 30 microhenries and 56 microhenries. It is limiting the saturation current to 1.2 amps, and it is limiting the value of the rated current to around 1 amps. Of course, if you go back and calculate it by hand based on the previous video, you will get almost exactly the same results because the tool is using extremely similar equations to what we presented. Let us now have a look at the saturation current and the rated current whilst leaving this where it is. So for the saturation current, we would have calculated it to be around 1.2 amps in terms of the peak current of the inductor. However, what happens is that the PWM IC in your power supply also has got an overcurrent limit. Now, if you imagine, if the value of the overcurrent limit of your PWM IC is set to 2 amps, but the saturation current of your inductor is 1.2 amps, then just before an overcurrent fault occurs, your inductor is likely to get saturated. Therefore, even though we calculate based on ripple values that we don't need a saturation current bigger than 1.2 amps, what we normally do is we go and look at the overcurrent limit of the chip, and we set the saturation current to that value so that if there is going to be an overcurrent fault, your inductor doesn't saturate before that value. For simplicity, let us say that the overcurrent limit of our PWM IC is set to 2 amps, and therefore we go to this filter here and let us change that, allow a little bit more headroom for us, 2 amps. Let us say we limit it to 3 amps, and my choice falls down now to 28. Another thing that we calculated in the previous video, which the tool has also calculated, is the rated current of the inductor. It has set it to 1 amp. I would like to allow a little bit more margin for myself. Let us say that I limit it to 1 and 3 amps. This is actually open-ended, is 1 amp to all the other values, but I'm going to limit that to 3 amps. And you can see that I have now still got a choice of 28. The output, the voltage stress is set to this value. And now let us have a look at what else we can narrow down, because 28 is still a big choice. Here you've got the shielding of your inductor. And at the moment, these 28 includes all the unshielded ones and all the semi-shielded ones. And of course, for a power supply, we usually try to make things quiet. So a shielded one is by far more quiet. So I'm going to select that one. And now I end up with a choice of 16. Finally, let us go to the materials. You will see that you've got a choice of iron powder, manganese zinc, or manganese zinc nickel zinc blend, or just nickel zinc. Nickel zinc material is not really suitable for switch mode power supplies because these are being designed and used for EMC filtering, whereby you try to make the core lossy in order to stop the radiation. So our choice really is iron powder and manganese zinc. So if I limit that to manganese zinc and iron powder, you can see that I end up with a grand total of 6 choices. Now, if we just use our equation and we get a value of inductance, yes, any value above what is being displayed is actually suitable. However, please remember that inductors come with a plus or minus 20% tolerance. So if you have calculated 33 microhenries, it could very well be that the value that you buy is 20% less than that. And in order to allow for this, we divide 33 microhenries, which is your lowest value that is being listed, by 0.8, so allow an increase of 20% tolerance. And for that value, you end up with 56 microhenries or 47. So let us say that these two 56 microhenries are the most suitable ones for us. And what you can do then is to select these two, and you can see that your choice is now 2 for 56 microhenries, and you can see that one of them, the blue one in particular, loses its inductance quite a lot as the current goes up. So here's the inductance, here is the current, and the tool has plotted for you how the inductance reduces with the amount of current. The orange one seems to work much better in terms of not losing inductance as the current goes up, and therefore I have got the component that I need. Out of a choice of 3000, I have narrowed it down to 6, and then further down to 2, and now just this one, and this is the one that I would be using for my power supply. So there you go. We have now shown how you very quickly select the inductor of a buck converter. There is a very good presentation that will go through all of these steps step by step so that you don't have to watch the video over and over again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you at one of our workshops.